Good afternoon. Thanks for coming. We do appreciate your time. My name is Tony Lorenz. I'm the founder of bXb Online, and I'm joined by 4 individuals here who've been really instrumental in helping us craft this industry platform first announced at PCMA Convening Leaders in San Diego. I have John Graham, Sheriff Karamat, Michael Doyle, Stephen Hacker, and many others, but thank you for your attending. We really appreciate their leadership. And special thanks I have to say to Dallas. I've spent a lot of time in Dallas over the last few years, and it's a great town, and it's made even greater by the fact that ASAE has decided to attend here. I know they are appreciative, and congratulations to you, John. It's such a strong event. It's truly a great experience. We have about 15 minutes or so for prepared remarks. Then we're going to go to some dialogue from my colleagues here, as referenced earlier, and then some Q&A. And our hunch is you're going to really remember today for a long time. Today's the day the association industry, really the original social network, takes a strong step forward toward a leadership position on the social web. So by a show of hands, who was in London physically attending the games last week or two? You were there yesterday at session 2, I remember. One person. Now, who experienced the games live through broadcast or online? Okay. So hold that thought. Quickly, the fundamentals of Olympic marketing are to generate revenue for the Olympic movement, to spread the word of the Olympic movement primarily through broadcast media, and then to really support the Olympic movement with strong financial stability. So generate revenue, deliver experiences to many, many people, and ensure financial stability. If I was to ask John if those objectives are ringing true as an association exec, I think he'd agree that they're pretty primary every day. The IOC, the governing board of the Olympic movement, has doubled its business in the last 15 years. But here's the catch. It did it on essentially flat attendance at the games. And most recently, in a somewhat quiet battle with the X Games, now won, the IOC met a challenge of relevance to a younger generation which has embraced the social web and regained its rightful place among the most important demographic group that arguably exists in the IOC and the Olympic movement. It has ticketing revenue, has licensing revenue, and other ways by which it's done so. And as a consequence, the Olympic movement today has more impact on society than it ever has before. And I can say that's a tall order given the legacy of the Games. Our game in this industry is the interaction amongst attendees. The performance of business can best be accomplished face to face. This may or may not surprise you, but our industry actually dwarfs the Olympic movement and U.S. pro sports combined. So the similarities are as striking as the differences. Now, we did not ask for your time today to talk about sports. We use it only as an analogy that has resonated with hundreds of your colleagues over the last many months. We will provide you with a first look at a platform which will help transform our industry, much like broadcast television transformed the Olympic movements and all sports many years ago. We will together take back what has been taken away and then deliver a splintered industry in the business event marketplace as it relates to content and community. And you here are in a unique position to not just report on this platform, but help us finish its creation. It's a fact that most technology platforms launched are a solution looking for a problem. The vast majority of those platforms, they come and then they go. Our intent, however, has been to identify the challenges in this industry and then develop a solution to address them. There are way too many industry leaders to thank individually for their input over the last year or so, and we've gone unusually deep in our feedback throughout our industry, so this platform is designed and built to address the real challenges of the business consumer, your members, and the target market, and the associations, media companies, and corporations which support them. Our theme has been twofold: gather and grow. We pulled together these industry organizations represented with me today and their organizations they support. These same organizations have a combined audience that represents over 500 million business consumers throughout all industries, from healthcare to food to technology, education, and more. The feedback from the industry is loud and clear. We need this. The frontline members and non-members especially have fresh perspective. They don't just hope, they expect associations to enter the game briskly in the areas of online content and community. And again, associations, the original social network, should lead their members and will through this transformation. These quotes represent some feedback we've got from the dialogue with business consumers over the last many months. We're tired of inefficient searches on the internet. We want to experience content, not just read it. Why can't I experience these great events if I can't attend in person? So they want a rich online experience. They want to filter to only the best of what is out there, and time and space mobility in how they engage with their industry. The challenges of the event owners and the brands that participate in these events are different and yet just as significant. My members are looking elsewhere for the content they need. Data is growing, but we can't control it. These events are big investments. I need to scale that investment to a wider audience. They want a more scalable, measurable investment in the events in which they participate, renewed growth of the attendee base, and a stronger relationship with their members and customers. Associations and commercial event owners need to turn their events into open platforms for year-round engagement and revenue generation. Our analogy, first discussed in January, has stood the test of time over hundreds of people. The B2B events industry is an opportunity to experience a new chapter of significant growth, essentially on the back of a wider audience that simply cannot attend. Even in the best of economic times, much like the sporting industry experienced its new chapter many, many years ago. We'll develop an elegant online industry platform that combines, curates, and delivers the best content and community in the global B2B marketplace. We've organized the platform by industries as identified by the SEER Index, and I would like to thank Doug DeCate and his team at SEER for their work in this area. And you're looking at a structural outline, if I may, of the opportunity for growth it presents to face-to-face events, essentially in the back of online experiences and related content which extend those events to global marketplaces. The good news is leadership in this industry is ready to embrace change. Scores of executives have stated that they know when it comes to their events, positive evolution of the model is necessary. They embrace the fact that change must happen at a quicker pace than it ever has before. There's no silver bullet, and yet, however, there are several bullets that will create and continue to elevate this industry, creating a positive impact overall. Now, you all have someone in your life. It's a he or she like Bob. Everyone does. I have a handful here in Dallas, in Chicago, here and in other continents. You know, if there's more people like him in your life, you're going to be better off. As a business professional, as a person, the line continues to blur, and we know that that is just the case. You seem to have known him your entire life, even though you may have known him just a few months or years, and he has relevant and progressive input and information whenever, wherever you need it. You find value in his network, which he leverages to your benefit on a regular basis. You also don't mind the fact that he manages to have a little bit of fun where it's appropriate to do so. This person is identified in BOBtv, Best of Business Television, the second best seat in the house. The latest and best events, the most incredible presentations, innovation at every turn, what you want, when, and how, and where you want it. BOBtv will be a place where the business consumer can collaborate and innovate. Face-to-face, and I underscore, has and always will be the best means by which business gets done. And yet, as the slide states, while BOBtv is there for you where and when you need it, it's still the second best seat in the house. Now, I have to say, when you run a brand like this past guys like Chris Brown at NAB, or Deborah Sexton at PCMA, or Stephen Hacker, or Kerry Parsons at Freeman, or others, you have to be prepared for some pretty direct feedback. Honest, even brutally honest, no matter what it is. And here's a sampling, if I may, of what they had said and others have said about this brand, BOBtv. And then one not to be identified overzealous hotel sales executive who didn't quite get it asked the following question: are Bob's meetings booked in 2013? Couldn't answer that. This platform goal is straightforward and significant. It's our belief that over time it will transform the entire B2B events industry across every industry category. So let's take a quick look, if I may.
Business consumers in every industry are demanding more. The business-to-business event marketing industry must evolve. Thanks to the leadership of our industry organizations, we now have a solution. An online destination organized by industry that aggregates and delivers the best content business has to offer. Face-to-face events. This vast universe of incredible content is filtered by each business consumer, so they get what they want when they want it. A digital gateway to the online extensions of every industry's very best meetings, conferences, conventions, and events around the world. Information and experiences that are live 365, 24/7, delivering real value to association members and the rest of their global and local communities. It's a new way to deliver value. A new way to showcase the value of professional and trade associations, media properties, and brands. A new way to drive never-ending growth of face-to-face events and the organizations that deliver them. But what, or shall we say who, is going to help us transform our industry? Someone who is very well networked and readily extends that network to your benefit. Someone who delivers value and has a good bit of fun doing it. BOBtv. BOBtv is a new professional home for business consumers, a new delivery platform for live and on-demand business content, a new marketing platform for face-to-face events, a new revenue stream for event owners, and a new platform for business consumers to interact, share their thoughts, and explore their industry. BOBtv allows online attendees to register with a new account, or if a member of a participating association, they simply use their existing association or social ID to register. After becoming an online attendee, BOBtv serves up customized, tailored, on-demand, and live events and related content based on the attendee's profile criteria. Attendees can quickly categorize and filter content, or utilize the search option to access the specific content they seek. They have a single professional online home that gives them the content and community they need when they need it. And it's simple to get a snapshot of the content before diving in. All it takes is a click. Business professionals are always getting pulled in different directions. On BOBtv, it's no problem. In the middle of an episode but have to stop to take care of something? No worries. It's simple to resume watching whenever and wherever it's convenient. There's so much incredible content to absorb. BOBtv makes it easy to get the best and most relevant content and keep track of it as you do. Add a video to the queue, reference an episode that was previously watched, chat with a colleague during an online event. BOBtv has everything needed to discover, manage, share, and experience content in the way business consumers want. Attending a meeting in person is always the best option, but not always possible. So to access all the best live events through a single online industry gateway, come to BOBtv. BOBtv is a progressive approach to sharing business content with your professional and increasingly global community. It's a new way of uniting entire industries and at the same time meeting the harder to achieve and yet reasonable demands of exhibitors and sponsors. It's a new way to build your business and the business of your members. Many years ago, sporting events experienced a transformation when team owners eventually embraced broadcast television. Now, business events will experience a similar transformation as their owners embrace online experiences for a global business community. For the best of business content and community, come to Best of Business TV. BOBtv. You're gonna like it here.
Okay. So how many people did the count on how many times Sherrif was in that video? 15? He insisted that he's better looking than Steven, so I had to. He is a little bit better. Not really. Anyway, we use PCMA as an illustrative example, and we use this quote from Corbin. Many of you know Corbin Ball. He's arguably the foremost authority on technology in our space, and we think he summarized what BOBtv can do for this industry overall. The structure of BOBtv is analogous to something familiar to us all, broadcast television. The relationship between TV and the networks, channels, programs, and episodes completely align with BOBtv. We've got TV, which has networks, which has channels on networks, which has programs and episodes on those programs, similar to how we roll it at BOBtv. Taking an illustrated look example, you can see that structure here. This is a quick revisit of the user interface, and then going forward from there, we can see that the simple philosophy is no banner ads. Nothing against them, we just choose not to go that way, nor does Bob. So with some exceptions, we will, however, decide to bring in rich media advertising in areas of BOBtv in which we have direct control. BOBtv is rich in user experience, analytics, search, and ability to navigate, integrate, and recommend content to the online attendee. We partner with best-in-class technology as the most progressive technology platforms do today, accelerating the development process. BOBtv will capture online events and their content from virtually any technology platform, and the analytics will be powerful and valuable, with that value accruing right back to the associations, the media companies, and brands which participate in BOBtv. Bob likes partners, and we're fortunate to have alignment with these organizations represented here today and additional industry channel, content, and technology partners, and those discussions are very, very active, and we purposefully announced on or before October 31. An absolute pillar of this business will be robust measurement and analytics. We're fortunate to announce today our partnership with Skip Cox and his team in exhibit surveys. ESI specializes exclusively in research, measurement, and strategic consulting for the event marketing industry. ESI has conducted primary research for more than 5,000 events and 10,000 individual exhibits in all major segments on 6 continents in all areas of commerce. quite simply, and I think we'd all agree, ESI leads and innovates in this category. And when combined with the industry's largest database of audience profiles with performance analytics, our partnership with ESI is a natural fit. Skip Cox is on a very well-deserved family vacation this week, so he couldn't be here, but he did offer and ask to say a few words on our behalf, on the behalf of the partnership. So you can go to video.
Exhibit Surveys is very much looking forward to working with bXb Online to develop a robust measurement solution for BOBtv. Having had the opportunity to evaluate the concept earlier on when they were vetting it and testing it with industry leaders, I've had the chance to learn about it, and I'm very much in alignment with the role it's intended to play to enhance event marketing activities, both live and virtual. Measurement is going to be critical to BOBtv, particularly to its clients early on, because it's going to be needed to quantify the value of BOBtv. It's going to be needed to identify strengths and weaknesses that will lead to performance improvement, and over time to evolve and refine their strategy, both for their event and both for their live and their virtual events. Exhibit Surveys is looking forward to this opportunity, and we're ready to get started.
So baseline measurements for BOBtv will include areas of audience reach, visitor quality, sales, marketing, learning acceleration, visitor experience, tactical execution, and others. Our goal is quite simply not to boil the ocean, but rather take on business events, typically the single largest spend in any marketing organization, in any organization, period, in any brand, and tell a compelling story around the impact of those events online. And we'll move beyond leads, which at times receives too much focus at best, and at worst can be sometimes contentious category of measurement. We've covered a lot of ground in the last 280 days. The initiative is bigger by all measure than it was back in January. It's bigger in scope, but most importantly, it's bigger in opportunity for this entire association landscape. Our objective has been to provide you with an overview of the industry feedback, preview of BOBtv, talk a bit about approach to design, advertising, measurement, and other areas just presented, and then, of course, answer your questions relative to this initiative. The target date for live is Q1 of this coming year. Between now and then, we will need you as industry participants to continue to ask tough questions as you have, and as we previously stated, you're in a unique position to not just report on this platform, but help us continue to create it. You see a summary of the work done by IMEX in the slides, which speaks to the challenges of the next decade, not unlike any other decade we've had before. And I will point out to the industry partners I have in ASAE and PCMA and others are doing heroic, I understand heroic _ work to get that challenge addressed and those challenges addressed. So thank you for your leadership in that regard, but there's still so much to do. So we're developing BOBtv as a platform that helps associations and executives especially address these challenges from its standpoint. Again, thanks for the time, and with a bit of color commentary to East, I could ask my colleagues to come on stage and we'll have them say a few words if you don't mind, John, Stephen, Sherrif, and Michael. So John, you are officially the busiest guy in the room, and we really appreciate your time. I don't know how he does it. You've consistently given me a shared sense of purpose on what we're trying to do here. As you all know, John Graham, he's really good at asking tough questions. He's asked them. We've made our best effort to answer them, and maybe we could give a few thoughts on what you think of what we're up to here. Pass this down.
As Tony and I have had conversations before, and we've had a number of focus groups and with CEOs who are my colleagues, and particularly some of the verticals like healthcare and things like that, broadcasting. I think the concept is a very exciting one. I think that it is cutting edge. It's not so much a concern that I have, but I think that associations in general are risk aversive. They're not quick to move, and I think that they're going to have to get first comfortable in the virtual space and what that means. And once they get comfortable in the virtual space, I think that they will start to get comfortable in being part of a broader network. I think the devil is in the details, as you and I have talked about. For an association, first and foremost, as any association, the only thing they really have that's worth anything other than their name is their content. And so they're going to be very careful about how they license that content, how they distribute it, et cetera, et cetera. So I think virtual is here to stay. So I'm delighted to be part of something that is going to be, I think, as we look into the future, an exciting opportunity and a way of doing business. And I think that we have to work hard to get associations comfortable with the virtual space.
Perfect. So in the interest of alphabetical order, Stephen, you could say a few words. And Stephen, by the way, if I have an opportunity, thank you. No, company alphabetical. Yeah, he's on them. No, now you can't say anything.
I've waited 21 years for this.
Oh my God, I got a problem. Thanks for your leadership and the partnership here.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you all for coming. When I think about the galaxy of brilliant concepts, truly Bob is, in my opinion, the brightest star in that universe. And I say that for this reason. The Center for Exhibition Industry Research tells us that there are just over 10,000 trade shows and similar events every year just in the United States. About 7,000 of those are business-to-business events, and the others are business-to-consumer events. When we think about trade shows, the conventional image that arises are events like National Association of Broadcasters, International Consumer Electronics, and events at that strata. But it's important to understand that that kind of mega event represents less than 300 of the 7,000 B2B events each year. The backbone of the exhibition industry are the other thousands of events, half of which are produced by associations, the other half are produced by for-profit communications companies, and they are largely invisible in terms of the content, the rich content that they develop almost every day of the year. This is an opportunity, the first opportunity that we have had to capture efficiently the best of that content. And just imagine if you were a brain surgeon, and now you have a channel dedicated to learning all that you need to know about what's happening in brain surgery as a result of technology, and it fits your schedule, and you can keep it. The other half of this brilliant concept is that it will immediately drive the need and the urge for more people to attend the live events. So there's no downside to this, and that's why I can pledge to you as president of IAEE, the president of IAEE will devote 24/7, 365 to making sure that this concept hits the ground running. And it's perhaps the most exciting thing I've seen in 21 years.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen.
How do you follow that?
I don't know. Well, what I will say, thank you, one, and two, you have to go somewhere first. And when we had this idea, which I will tell you originated over breakfast with Chris Brown many a year and a half ago now. The first person I went to was Deborah Sexton, who's not here today, representing PCMA as Sherrif. And if you want a direct answer out of anybody in this industry, you're going to get it out of Deborah Sexton. She gave me a direct answer, was very favorable, and then led me to the discussion with the rest of my colleagues here. So Sherrif, if you don't mind, and thanks for your leadership at PCMA.
Sure. Thank you very much, Tony, and it's great to be here. Before I say anything, if you indulge me, I want to thank John Graham on a very successful ASAE.
Fantastic.
And delighted to be here, and also the great city of Dallas. So thank you, John. You know, I think virtual is not something that we should speak in isolation anymore. Face-to-face meetings in general, virtual, it's the same thing. It's enduring content. It's year-round learning. What BOBtv tells me is that I'm able to aggregate content and take it to a broader audience, to engage people that's not defined by 4 walls or 2 walls, but engaging people all over the place, domestically in our country, but across our borders and throughout the world. In the association business, we don't live by borders. Our issues, whether it's be medical, scientific, they are global issues. And BOBtv gives us this opportunity to extend our audience, to drive face-to-face attendance, aggregate content, and allow learning to happen year-round, which is, to me, extremely exciting. I also want to say something else, Tony, and that is, in the last few years, our industry has faced many crises. And most recently, John Graham's organization brought to our attention the GSA issue. And thanks to John and his team, Jim Clark, they got that information out. I thought, what an opportunity with BOBtv to really reach our entire audience at one time. IAEE's membership, PCMA's membership, virtual John's ASAE's membership, and all the alphabet soup in one full swoop, and ask them to provide responses, to react, to give them information so they're prepared to react, or just to be informed. And this is an opportunity not just about education of our industry, but also to help us respond to issues that we're facing, which will make us so much more effective as an industry.
Okay, thank you.
I hate going last.
Sorry, you're the new guy, so you're going to go last.
Exactly. I'll take that. So, first of all, I just want to say, Tony, thinking about this, I don't think there's anybody else in this industry that would be better at doing what you're doing. I've been thinking about this, and I just don't think there is anybody else who could, wear these shoes, because this is a big undertaking. And hey, by the way, I can see Bob and Ted being great friends.
You're creative in them, yeah.
So, no, seriously, I think that transformational is the word of the day for this, and it really addresses what you're doing. Really addresses several bottlenecks that exist right now, and bottlenecks that have really slowed the adoption of this technology and the benefits that this technology provides to the events industry. And one of them that I can think of that has always been a pet peeve of mine, and you brought up borders. The virtual platforms out there right now, if you look at it, they take an event's content and they put it into another event envelope.
Right.
So they don't really take it out to the rest of the world. And that's something that BOBtv is really doing, and it's something that's absolutely necessary and needed. And to be able to do that across all of the different platforms, that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge, and it'll do the kinds of things that you've mentioned. It'll help drive audience. It'll help people really perform on their mission to educate the much broader community out there. So I think it does that. I think it addresses something else critical, which is monetization. Gives them another avenue to help monetize this content, help, of course, manage the content as well. So I think you're hitting on a lot of key issues that have so far held this, industry back. So,
thanks. Well, we're running a little long, but so I want to take any questions that may be out there in the audience. Please, Joyce.
As you know, I'm into content marketing and content curation. But right now, based upon the associations and the for-profit shows that I know, there's no job title within any of the associations being the content curator.
Right.
And you and I both know that to have BOBtv be spectacular, which it can be, it's got to start off with great quality content, which needs a content curator.
Right.
How are you looking to?
Well, there were no CIOs 30 years ago, but now everyone's got one, and that will be I think the position that's coming forward. The question is, how quickly will it come? Everything moves quicker than it did 5 or 10 years ago.
Okay. Are you going to be doing anything with the Content Marketing Institute?
Yes, we're in active active discussion. They're among the partnerships that we are in active discussion with.
Good. Thank you.
Please.
Hi, I'm Doug Duquette with the Center for Exhibition Industry Research. We're using the virtual concept two ways. First, in terms of broadcast of the last 2 hours of the day, with the final session of the day being devoted to what did you learn today, so that the tuning in audience that wasn't able to participate in the first 6 hours is going to get a Cliff Notes on what actually happened during that period of time from the people that were actually doing those presentations. Secondarily, then, we're using an app and delivering all of our content that way. That'll live 365 until we do the conference again the following year. So there will be these in-depth interviews as well as clips with sound bites for folks to be able to do it. From our research, what we're seeing happening within our industry is the trend is to cozier events. People want to be with peers. People want to be with people that have the same ideas, concepts, challenges, problems that they do. The healthcare industry started for this many years ago, as John well knows, in terms of the number of 1,500 of the events that Stephen talked about are theirs. So I think as we see a trend toward cozier events, even within your own meeting, you've got segmentation in the number of concurrent programs you have going on. Again, trying to put people in like groups. I think what we're going to find, and Tony, we applaud what you're doing from the standpoint of saying, we're going to be able to take the things I wasn't able to do while I was at ASAE, or the meeting I wasn't able to go to, and still get the benefit of the content of what actually happened at that event. Again, it is the second best seat of the house. Love your tagline, because people that are in the face-to-face business are a little bit reluctant to promote virtual. I think in this sense, it may be the solution to what we've been looking for, and that's how to drive value to make our events last beyond the 3 days that we enjoy being face-to-face. So we certainly have our support, and thank you very much, and all you guys for taking the time to be here, and good luck to Bob.
Thanks, Doug.
I have one question for you.
Please.
In terms of, you've identified a number of different partners already, and the ball is rolling here.
Right.
But are you going out and approaching the individual associations and events, or are, should they come to you?
We have a long list of that, both active, secured, in a pipeline, if you will. And we've chosen to not talk about that in this press conference because they've asked us to keep that dialogue confidential till it's.
So you're targeting specific ones. So in general, anybody with event content, can they approach Bob at this point?
Yes, absolutely. And you'll go to BOBtv.biz, which is now live as of about 10 minutes ago, and you can register that interest. Anybody can do that, and we'll be attending to those questions. Please.
So I'm a little bit confused. Does the association is the association responsible for the video recording, if you will, of all the content, and then you're going to broadcast it, or are you responsible for bringing in the TV and the video production, or is it a hybrid?
Yes. Many associations, as example, HIMSS, they do a very fine job right now of doing what they do with HIMSS Live, and there's not a lot of things to do. It just will plug up into the relevant place on the platform. Then there's others that don't have that work done yet. So we, or any, for that matter, any organization, which we encourage to build out of that through the scholarship program we support and other means, anybody can build that content out and bring it up. So it's both.
Just one technical question.
Yeah.
I see that, and I thought I heard you say it, that the leading event industry associations that are taking the lead on this are ASAE, SEER, IAEE, PCMA, and VEI. But I don't see SEER on the logo. Is in reporting out from this?
Well, we're just representing the people on the stage here. So,
okay.
Yeah.
But SEER is, they're co-equal
partners. What do you think, Doug? Are you good to being around this thing?
I'm still waiting for the line.
So are these guys. They're all waiting, believe me. We got a long list of people waiting for the dollars. Yeah, exactly. You got to start somewhere. Yeah, the endeavor is to build this so that the individuals, quite seriously, the organizations that built this industry can receive the value right back. That's what we have to start somewhere, and that's where we start.
I would just add this observation. When you are on the threshold of an opportunity like this, and if your primary focus is where's the money, you've already foreordained that proposition to fail. There's got to be some sweat equity that is put into the proposition to make it robust enough to spin off revenue later on. And I think that, I can't speak for anybody else, but I know for IAEE, we're looking at this as a long-term investment opportunity.
Thank you. Questions? Thoughts? Okay, so we're over. I want to just close by, if I may, I'm going to reference a guy in the room right now, Bob Berlin. I talked earlier about Bob's. Quite coincidentally, he's one of my Bobs. He's an Olympian, he's a successful entrepreneur, family man. He's keynoted Saturday's event for AMC. He's just a great guy, and he's lived his life with a very successful track record by 3 primary principles. One, everything he does, he thinks about the plan to go do what he wants to do. He rolls up his sleeves, he goes and does it, does the hard work, and then most importantly, he believes. Now, if we don't have any one of those 3 things in this endeavor, we won't be here next year. I have a feeling that we will. As an industry, we have the accelerated wind behind our back thanks to the organizations here on stage, and then with a unified platform, I think we can get there in time. So I'll thank you for your time today, and questions we're here for duration. Thanks.